Thanks for staying with us. You know, I think I like this conversation we're having because hopefully to help a lot of people out there who are also listening to you, because even I'm getting new insights. Because in my own view, I felt, oh, it's my husband's thing. And then when BC had agreed, it was just BC's thing. You know, maybe it's just a few. But now hearing another person saying, listen, when we have issues outside, their support me. Now I'm seeing things from the perspective, okay, maybe actually it's something I must really pay attention to. I have learned, however, from my experiences that you don't have to make a fuss. I try not to make a fuss going forward. In fact, I've learned from that. I don't make a fuss anymore. I just do like you. I keep quiet while I leave the place and just mind my business, obviously. So even with that, I've communicated that I'm not in agreement. That, in addition, aggravates.
But it's better than
confronting and voicing. But there was something you said, which I would like us to go back to, that everybody is coming from somewhere, and we see our world based on where we're coming from. And I think if we let that sink in, even when you are having this kind of issues outside, you understand where your spouse is coming from. Because there's some women that have had issues all their life, and then something happens that triggers a certain reaction, and then you get upset. Why is she getting upset on this? But she's coming from somewhere. So we are all right based on where we are coming from, which I think is really, really vital.
So it's also, I also had to learn it because my husband is a very vocal person. In fact, people think I talk. Wait till you meet him. He out-talks me most of the time. And we always argue about different things. I'm someone who is into a lot of, you would call my kind of person a seeker. I read a lot. I want to know things about everything. And there are some specific areas I'm interested in. So when it comes to general issues like that, I'll always have something to say based on either where I'm coming from or what I've experienced. And our experiences are different. He came from a different background. I came from a different background. So we were always clashing with certain ideas, certain values and everything at the beginning. And so I started paying attention to what was really causing our argue. In fact, to some extent, people around, once they say, leave and busy, I want you don't start. Leave them, they go calm down. You know, and our voices are quite high. When we're arguing, you think we are fighting. We're not fighting, no, we're just arguing. This is my perspective, and so I believe in that one is holding on to their own. So when I now started understanding that he is right in his own rights, and I am right in my own rights. Now, where do we come to? How do we come to the middle? How do we now agree? And because I'm the woman, I choose to step down, first of all. And then I'm nodding. I've not agreed though, but I'm just nodding to make you understand I'm not fighting you, I'm hearing you out. He also took a cue from that. So when he's done, and I said, can I speak now? And I speak, he's also nodding and nodding. And then sometime back when I hear him speak, preaching on the altar, I hear some of the things I have said that he had argued that he's using to preach, which tells me that he has actually heard me and opened his mind to what I had suggested. And it just made it easy. And it also gives us compassion. We are not in a hurry to judge people because they don't see life the way we see life.
I love that. Let me take this call from David. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello,
good morning, David.
I'm very happy to join you this morning.
I need some volume. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Please, I enjoyed this topic you are talking about. And I want to share an experience I had. I did a business with somebody, and are you hearing me?
I'm having trouble hearing you. Go ahead.
I did it with him. And I don't think there's some.
I really wanted to hear David because he was about to share his story. If we can call him back, I'll really be grateful. West Square.
I wanted to read this message from, hey, I hope I can still find it to... Yeah.
Okay. Mike, I always tell you, screen grab it. Don't lose it.
Osi Tokama School, something. OUSL. He says, Mommy Waike, if your person had told you that it was the governor of Lagos State that he was punching in his dream, would you have slapped him when you saw him? So I wanted to take it because I would answer. No, I would not have slapped him because they will arrest me. But I would say, Governor, you are stressing my man. Governor, why now? I will still face the governor. I will still bring it up to say...
Your reaction will be different.
Yes.
Yeah, so also I would like for us to differentiate because I feel like the messaging is going to be different. We're not saying that when our husbands are right, when they're in their rights, we will not be there to stand for them. They are our people now. They are our person. We're saying that when our husbands are doing something wrong, in a way to protect him from doing further damage or messing up even further, I've figured out a way to do it without vocalizing and making him feel even smaller, but also, you know, in my silence, hoping I'm sending a message that, you know, this is where you back down, please. This is where you shut up, please. You know, so it's not about my husband. I mean, that guy is he's my guy. Do you understand? I'm there for him. Come what, I may ride or die, come what may. And it also shows when he's doing something wrong. I may ride or die in that sort of way as well, because I don't want him, you know, going out there messing up. The two of us two now join head. Now, you know, and now be messing up together. They always say this about, you know, couples, that you hope that there's one person that can listen to the other. There's one person that can correct the other. We can't both mutadir mulala our J is not. I don't subscribe to that.
One of the things I'm also learning from this conversation, because even my kids have an issue with me, because sometimes when they complain about something in their school or a friend did something to them, you know, I always try to see reason. You know, maybe somebody says, somebody hit me. I'm like, first time I go, what did you do? Or I always try to see things from the other person, but they feel like I don't come and defend them, I don't come and fight. I'm thinking, I'm not going to be coming to be fighting, so sometimes they prefer to go and meet their dad.
Can I ask?
He would raise the issue, he would try to, you know, but although sometimes I do, in fairness, I do, but there's sometimes where I just feel like
there's something,
reason.
I won't mention it, but there's something you did. You stood up for your daughter in a particular situation,
yes.
and I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Yes.
You know, so sometimes the way that you stand up is different. Does not mean you're not standing
Exactly.
up. And we should understand that we are different people. And our differences are so important in our relationships. Not all of us are pepper. If somebody is pepper, someone is salt, someone is sugar. You know, sugar. Yeah. You know, there are different parts of the soup. Yeah. So we need to understand who we are, understand our strengths, be proud of that. I've said the story. There was once before I was in a car driving from, I think we're driving from Lokoja to Jos. Anyway, the drives in the north is usually really good. Yeah, a long stretch of road. And then we had this mopo, they stopped us. And it got heated, you know, with my friend's elder sister getting upset with the mopo, you know, challenging him. Here we are in the middle of nowhere, thinking of all the stories my mother said, before they will shoot you, people are just pushing you into the bush. And she was in her right. It wasn't as if she wasn't. Everyone else who joined her, no, you cannot. I was like, you know what, guys? You know, I calmed everyone down. I calmed her down. I calmed him down. The policeman looked at me and said, if not for this one, if not for this one, what I have shown her today. And we got in the car and we left. While we are driving around our camera, she looked at me, she was like, thank you for what you did, because it would have escalated. Yeah. I understand my strengths. I'm not the fighter, but does not mean that I will not stand up for you when I need to. And so that's how we
take this, Maraka. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Maraka. Yeah, wrong or right to support your spouse in the public. Yes, it is possible to support your spouse in his public, but it's not every time, because it might work the situation at that very particular time. Because why I'm saying this, because I had a similar experience in 2009. I bought a car, that is my second outing with that car. I was a military personnel. I was driving to my office in the morning. Getting to the junction that leads between my office and the police quarter, that is where I had an accident with the police officer. He and his wife were having a misunderstanding before he was coming out from the office, from home, to join the road that leads to my office, because it is a direct where I am coming from. But where they were coming from their quarter to join the road. Suddenly, I just hear, bah! It damaged my fender, my tire, in fact, everything at the front. And at the end of the day, the wife just jumped down. Why should you destroy my car? You know, I just kept that phone my hand because I was almost here. I didn't wear my uniform, but the husband wear with the uniform. He never know that I am a military personnel. So I now asked the young man, I just undermined the word the wife said. And I said, why should you hit my car? You want to kill me? So at the end of the day, he was trying to charge because of the wife's statement. I couldn't camera it. So at the end of the day, people now came. They now saw how he hit because the position of the captain were still there. So they now took us to a police. They now look at it. They now say, okay, the man, that is the police officer, is the one guilty. Right. So we now went to the office of the commissioner.
Thank you very much. I think we got the
yeah, he's saying that in that situation, the wife came out to fight. Meanwhile, the man was wrong because he hit his car.
Okay.
He hit this guy that called his car. And the woman came out fighting, and the man now Kuku joined her. So he's saying it's not every time that you should. And I wanted to, two scenarios. There was one day I was having an argument with somebody over, just a general political topic. Theo did not agree with me, but he didn't say anything. He didn't, when I'm arguing, I will argue it.
We know. Why can we know?
When I believe in that thing, I argue it down. I will never agree.
We know you. Come on. Don't tell me that, Mariah. Don't tell me.
No. Let me finish. Don't stop me.
So Theo didn't agree with me. Yeah. He just kept quiet. And when we got in the car, he said, but I still argued with him as well, But he did not argue with me.
There.
He left me, let me do my argument, but he didn't agree with me. Now, another situation, another person, another relative, where somebody annoyed me. And for me, that person, because he even touched me. And did,
put his hand in your face.
So I got very angry. And, I started facing him. And then I looked to my relative.
To defend you? To
defend me. And the eye was...
Like you deserve it. Okay, that's some...
I went ballistic. So you see that guy? I faced him.
Okay, let me go with your second example.
I trust you.
I can almost be your second relative, that feels that, listen, I'm not going to get into a fight. I don't have the energy or passion for it. Yeah. Like for someone like my spouse right now, Brown, he will spark there, 5 minutes. Hi, sweetheart. And I'm like, I'm still boiling. I'm still 4 days.
Take a longer time to breathe.
Now, we spark. After that spark,
and move on.
He has moved on. But for me, I don't want. So if I see you shouting with somebody and I just don't want to get into that argument, I might agree with you. I just don't want to get into it. I just mind my business. I won't get into it.
For your cousin.
I won't get into that conversation. I don't want to get into a brawl because I can't. You that you're doing you're doing it because you can do he. I mean, I can't.
I didn't expect. Okay, I didn't expect the person to defend me or even say a word. Yeah. But if I had looked, if I'm arguing and I look at you,
you're expecting support.
From just your eye, just. But if I look at your eye and you do.
I see, this woman, she deserves it. It's good for her.
So the person that they were doing the eye for, I went back for you.
I will finish you today.
I will finish you today. So people that were watching.
That's why you're short.
People that were watching.
That are taller than you.
There was somebody that was watching and was just doing like this to me. Cool down.
Yes, giving you
cool
the
down. Say, I hear you, but cool down.
Yeah.
That is the kind of thing.
Response that you expected. Okay.
I expected, not.
Brian, let me let you.
How about like in situation with siblings, older, younger siblings, and then a younger sibling is talking to the older one? What do you expect to happen? Even if the older sibling is wrong, I've seen situations where people will stand up like, nah, until you're passing your boundary. They'll stand up to respect that age thing, So sometimes they are not going to fight. So what I'm describing, an older sibling is fighting with a younger sibling. The older sibling is wrong. But now the conversation has gotten to the point that the younger sibling is nearly putting a hand into the face of, you would see people would stand up and reprimand the younger sibling, not for doing, not for fighting or standing for their right, but because you are now entering a situation where it's going to be totally disrespectful. So you stand in that case, you're not going to fight, you're not going to insult the younger sibling, but you just remind. So what I'm saying, in her case, with her cousin, the cousin could have just stood up and said, don't put your hand in her face. You can express yourself, but don't please. Auntie, please calm down. So that's standing up. But even if she was wrong, but that is not that person agreeing with you, but just also maintaining that respect is being observed.
So let me he's even civil. But some troublesome cousins like that.
See, leave troublesome. We're friends here.
Okay.
You people see me and somebody having an altercation and you don't support me. I will just agree and just make up my mind that you people don't like me. I'm telling you.
If I don't support you, I don't like you.
Thank you.
No, I don't like you.
I refuse.
That's
not true.
Not true.
I meet you on the road. I meet you on the road. Somebody maybe has jammed your car.
Exactly.
And then they are even putting the eye. I will jump in the center.
That is how it's done. If I see the same thing for you too, I will do the same thing. That shows me, see,
they will think it's me
I am right or wrong. When you come and say, BC, you can whine my ear, BC, you know they try. How would you do that kind of thing? But at that moment, I want to see support. I want to see you smiling. I want to see you joining forces to show that person pepper. So, but I wanted to say something. Let me say something if I forget, Mariah. Sorry, calm down. Let's use wisdom to separate the situations, right? Because you're a fighter does not mean you see somebody carrying cutlass on you. And you say, this person cannot cut me. It just takes him up and down, and they've cut you. So you must be wise. When it comes to issues of violence and all of that, there's a way you can do it. You can, separate. You can be calm this one down, calm that one down. That is not the time to be judging you are right and you are wrong. Just diffuse the situation. We must learn that. When it comes to arguments, you can jump in because we're just talking now. We're just arguing. I support Miriam. I don't support YK. You can support YK. We understand that, but you must separate it. And also, there's something I've learned in life.
When it becomes physical.
Do not take up a fight where there are no spoils. If you go out with your husband and you know how he gets when he's talking, he's always right. He always wants to be right, and he always wants you to support. If you don't support him there, when you get back, after people have gone back to their beds, you are the one that's continuing your quarrel. There's no spoils in that fight. So why do I fight the fight? Where I will still go home, it's just small argument we argued about a movie. We will not carry face for 2 days just because I did not support you. I support you now.
Let him grow up now. Help me. Grow up.
No. You will not be teaching him to grow up outside. Teach him inside. No. For the fact that he has not grown up to that level. No, listen, this one that he has not grown at that level means you have not taught him anything at home. He's not outside. You correct your children. He's inside the house. So start on time. Have the conversation with him. Sometimes when you're talking and I feel like I'll just keep quiet, you should know. Do that at home. Don't do it outside.
No problem.
Start early.
We've heard you.
It's well.
You have heard me, Abby.
We've heard you. I'm thinking a lot.
I agree with
you. Fight for me.
Because I agree with you. If the guy is physical, then you must
diffuse it.
But if it's not a physical thing, if it's argument, I beg you.
I'll support my friend.
I get that. I guess we're all learning from each other, and it's good to have this kind of conversations because I always feel as if everything should be discussed. Because usually when I was growing up, when an issue happened, my father would ask you, what time did you get there? Who did you see? What, he will really make you break down things, and you have to really process every single thing and then almost present to him what happened in every situation. So he will, and for you to spank you, after you finish discussing, he will now tell you why you need that to be spanked. Do you agree that based on what you've done,
I love that.
You should collect 24 strokes because I would have given you 5, but because you did this, he make you understand the gravity of what you have done.
Yeah.
So when he's giving you, so that's
how you
So when you now go and start doing do you understand what is going on? Have you really analyzed and assessed what you're about to do? So
you see,
we are different in different ways.
That beating is premeditated beating. Me, I don't like premeditated beating.
Which one do you like?
Spontaneous beating.
It's better.
When you now think about it and then you now say, oh yeah, come for your strokes.
You be calling more.
No, I prefer premeditated beating.
That one is,
because let me tell you what I've done to my mom.
Let
me tell you what I've done to my mom. I have reported her to God so that judgment day, I remember as a child, I'll be keeping the things I'm going to say on judgment day against my mother for beating that I did not understand what I was getting.
Oh, wow.
So listening to Mariah, I'm like, oh, I would have loved her father.
Conversation,
You know?
Yeah, I would never forget this day. Myself and my cousins, Adeshokons, I said, no, it was I think it was my sister and my brother. It was somebody's wedding. I think it was the Shoyebo's wedding. I can't remember. It was Shino Peters was playing. Or was it Adebi? I can't remember what was wedding. I was a child. Myself and my sister went on the stage to dance with Shino Peters. My father was like a lawyer, legal luminary. For me, that was the most embarrassing thing in his life. For his children. And people were happy for spraying us. He was just with a cigar. On the back of this, we saw our daddy looking at us, but we didn't care.
Well, you thought you were
spraying up and dancing. We didn't care. We sat down. When we got home, he called us out.
Arranged
My children dancing in front of Shino Peters. Did you know how humiliated I was? You know, he will now break down who he is. And after explaining to us. So now I'm going to use air conditioner wire. So that thick one. Remember that thick air conditioner? He rolled it. He gave us 8 strokes each.
Hi.
8. The 3 of us, me, Tuni, and
For
Falake.
dancing.
But you see the difference. She remembers the crime and she remembers the punishment.
Yes,
Most of all, remember only punishment.
that's
You cannot
why I
remember what we did. You just remember that day that you beat us.
And you know, so I remember it's very deep.
And you
if I
think.
beat your dad, I wouldn't have beaten you. I would have maybe said, go and face the corner or something.
No.
Because that's premeditated beating.
I like premeditated.
Like premeditated murder.
He sat down, watched them, planned the beating.
Deliberate.
It was a deliberate.
Intentional.
Let's go back to the room. Yeah, this man.
So there was
you do other
we didn't,
Yeah,
there was one we didn't talk about
Yes.
when he was saying that he agreed never to argue in front of
I
his
agree with
children. I like that, but it's not for everything and not for every time. Because sometimes these children grew up not seeing the real world, not understanding how to deal with their emotions because they never saw mommy get angry and forget about it, or daddy shout and, move on from that situation. So when they now are thrown into a relationship and the man is screaming down at them and it's new to them.
That's a
They're
new
not able-
perspective.
Yeah,
Bisi.
they're not
That's a
able
new perspective. I'm hearing
to
this for the
handle
first
it.
time.
Yes.
Because
So-
what we have been told is that don't argue in front of your kids.
No,
But you're
no,
not
no.
coming with a new perspective.
Yes, they need to see that we are human beings and we get upset. They need
Okay.
to, most importantly, they need to see how you resolve the situation. So is your argument leading to death or divorce, or are you able to come out of it? Because they have issues in school too. They come back every day and say, this person did this to me, that person did that to me. They are also learning. You're modeling to them how to handle difficult situations. A lot of us did not have that sort of modeling. Either it went to the extreme or it was not there at all. And then we're thrown into the world, scrambling to survive. We can't regulate our emotions. Somebody says something very small, is a joke. You're already upset for 3 days. You're already calling out, because you did not learn how to process that emotion. So they get to a certain age where it's okay for them to see that mommy and daddy are not talking right now. Daddy annoyed me, and we have to sort out the situation.
Okay.
It also helps them grow and mature. And you'll be surprised at the kind of human beings you raise.
Let me take this
at
call.
the end of
Okay,
the day.
Mariam, for a second. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Latif, go ahead. Welcome. From ATL. Welcome to the show.
Atlanta, Georgia.
From USA.
Yes, I can see that.
US of A.
I'm sure I'll sleep at this time.
My contribution is just that wherever there's an altercation outside, whether in public or anywhere, the best thing I think to do is to make peace. There's always a good time when you are making peace. When you are not making peace, you don't know the capacity of the people you are trying to fight. So this can eventually turn to something you don't expect. But either your spouse is making problem outside or whatever, or your friend, the best option is to make peace.
Okay.
There's nothing peace
Yeah.
cannot separate.
Thank you very much, Latif. You're going to say something, Mariam?
Yes. So what BC said, maybe for me, I would take that and the situation I put in, maybe if they're a bit older. I don't know if you've grown up in a family where you watch your parents argue. It's very traumatizing for children. You're adults, you understand that it's going to end in talking it out or solving it. But a child is traumatized. Two people I love, back and forth. So for me, definitely, if you have much younger children, it's not the time. Of course, when the children grow older, they understand. After all, between themselves and their siblings, they argue.
Issues, yeah.
You know, and then you can explain to them, do you realize your dad and I to argue? And so that they're at an age where they understand. I was talking to someone, not going to mention, was talking about how he's finding stability, why for him in his current adult relationship he's looking for stability. Because as a child, all he remembers was constant fighting. And so that's something he's running away from. So for me, I think it's such a big deal, arguing and fighting in front of children. Now you're talking, I believe BC is talking about healthy arguments or in a healthy relationship. So in that sort of situation, of course, the children sometimes can even join in the who is right and who is wrong camp.
They educate.
That's one, you're showing them, educating them on how to communicate. But there are times that husbands and wives fight. You know that you don't even want your neighbor to hear because you will do or say some things that hurt.
I have an example of exactly recently. I can't remember a few weeks ago. I saw my husband had a really serious argument, and it was in front of the kids. I mean, we didn't plan for it to be for the kids. Just so happened that, and anytime we have an argument, it's always about the kids. Nothing else. We hardly fight about anything else except for raising the kids, the school, the lesson, what they do. That's the only time we fight. And this one was about one of the kids, and we burst out into serious. And obviously, after the whole hula baloo, by the next day, he apologized to me, and then by the next day evening, I needed to sulk. I need minimum of 2 days. So I wasn't talking to him. My daughter, my first daughter too, wasn't talking because she was also saw the whole drama. And she was also sulking. She came to me and told me how she felt about the whole thing, how it made her feel. I felt bad when I told her, I don't even know how to help you, but I made her understand that your dad and I had fought, but I will sort it out. And then I made her feel like that she'll be fine. But then I was focusing on myself. So after about 2 or 3 days, when I finished, by the second or third day, I was ready for a conversation, and I had a conversation with him, and we ironed it out. But do you know that for the next few days, my daughter still wasn't speaking to me in that same house?
Yes.
She stopped talking to me. And I was wondering, what is wrong with this auntie? Why is God not talking to me? And then I had to call her. What's your problem? Why are you sulking all over the house? She said that you refuse to understand that the effect your argument had on me. And I'm not healed from this thing. You've
been traumatized.
You're already laughing and
moved on.
Exactly.
But you have no idea how you
Your children will be looking at you and like, look at this traitor woman. This woman that we were this together. I agreed with her.
Abandoned me here.
You hear that a lot.
You're right. So there's that trauma.
So it's the balance.
The balance.
It's the balance. So the argument that causes trauma most of the time is not the regular argument. Like we have over what are we eating or the movie we're watching, we disagree about ideas. No, they're supposed to have done like, no, I see from my point of view, that's not the kind of argument that causes trauma. So you as a parent should know the kind of arguments or the kind of quarrels that you take away from your children, and only for a time. Because let me tell you the truth, whether I hide it or not, their energy catches it. They get it, they feel, and that's why you finish from a very intense argument, one of your children will come and hug you. They feel it. So you think you're hiding, you're not hiding anything. They can get it. They feel it from their, absorb it from their conscious mind, from their subconscious mind. You are deceiving yourself. So understand, and it gets to a particular age where they can now see it for what it really is. And it helps them to, form their lives and understand that these things happen. So they don't go out into the world with the expectation that
everything's perfect.
This person must be perfect. This person must not have. I never saw my mother raise her voice on my father. I never saw my father raise the voice on the mother. If you once you shout, small shout at me, I cannot deal. I did not see this happening. It was happening coded under the sheet. You did not know. But when they know, they can now.
Maybe they didn't even talk.
It's possible. Some people stay in homes where they are not talking for weeks. Yes, the kids also find a way to get that. So just balance it out.
Okay, let's take a few comments on social media as we wrap up. Because this is we're supposed to do about 2 or 3 topics today, but I think this one kind of stretched a bit. Let's take a few comments on social media so that we can wrap up very soon.
So Corey Michael says, conflict is necessary part of life's process. The place says, not all the time. Why would you be arguing all the time? Business point is important. Let it be balanced. I think September Production says, I didn't see my parents argue while growing up till I was like almost an adult, and my mom warned us not to get involved, and the way they settled was so funny. Okay. Mina says, My parents used to argue in front of us, and it taught me a lot about picking my fights, settling arguments, and moving on from it. I was not traumatized at any point in my life, but people are different.
YK, any?
I'm just...
Jorge says again, no matter how you shelter your kids, they will still fight their fights.
So, I mean, going back to, because we're supposed to connect this to the story of the other man who was saying that was selling a young lady on the first.
No, I have to read this comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Ajetu Mobi says, good morning, ladies. Auntie Annie, what you said about your husband, honestly, I love it. The driver might have been doing things spiritually to your husband. Your action stopped it materializing physically. And that is on period.
Spiritual control. Yeah, the physical. So he definitely has been traumatized.
I am Nigerian if I don't
But you
make it a spiritual thing.
story. Very short. You know, this thing actually happened. So there's this family friend of ours who, in a dream, saw the auntie pressing him. He was far away in the north when he saw the auntie. So a few months back, they moved. He was working with soldiers. They brought him back to, and he came to see his family member. As he saw that, his auntie.
He slapped me, beat her.
So before he came back,
Oh my Lord.
What happened to his auntie?
wait, the auntie was pressing him, attacking him spiritually. So
In the dream.
in the dream, while he was in the north. Before he came, 2 days before he came back, the auntie woke up shouting,
Like this
"Hey,
after.
Hamamulao, Ntimo." So her face was swollen.
Oh.
She got a slap from the dream. That guy has slapped her. And I saw it growing up.
We
It's not-
are
it's not
hearing
gist.
you. We're laughing, right?
It's not gist. I said growing up. The face was swollen. He was shouting. 2 days later, the man came back. She went to apologize to him. Yes, now, she went with the face to apologize to him. He slapped her from wherever he was before he came back. So sometimes we trivialize these spiritual things. I'm agreeing with our caller, but it actually happens, and we must be careful. If you beat me in the dream, if I see you in real life, I give you back.
There's somebody that.
Andrew Chatham says, for me, Miriam is cool, no wahala lady. For YK, na true daughter of fella. If you fight YK, the fella tune that comes to mind is wahala go fight. Oluwase Walatune says, at this week, God bless you. I saw that video too. The children will be looking for a perfect spouse. God bless you. You see,
Okay.
I like Mariah's upbringing. That means he likes that means he must like that.
Premeditated beating. I love it.
That my beating that I got with the cookies is also, it's also in my book.
Yes.
My father would tell you, ask you, so you ate my cookies. Did they belong to you? You know where you got, how I got it from here?
He was
Do you
way
know-
ahead of
he
his
will-
time.
Yeah, he will break it down for you. So when you're now collecting his spanking, you're not saying you stood down. And then you go and get his belt.
Hi.
And he'll tell you how many strokes he's going to give you. So if you know that I'm getting 12, I mean, my father was unbelievable. But I
way
think,
ahead of
so,
his
yeah, so but we're all different. But I think in a nutshell, really, many of these rules that, we want to say something.
Odunayo says, that's why you are short.
Odunayo, why?
Jay, at Moakabash. Did you just say that? This one pain me, oh. Cry.
No respect for your elders. How dare you tell YK because she's short?
Yes.
I know, why can now?
We are reading. She will kneel down. Sorry, she will kneel down
Okay,
after
it's
the
fight
show.
too now.
She
What
will
is
kneel
that?
down.
Say
Put
Say
her
that
hands
one
up.
pain me and this cry inside the tweets.
Anyways, we have to wrap. But I think what the conversation we're talking about was about that man that was saying he had 4 rules for his wife. I think what the ladies had agreed is that the fact that he used rules might come across a bit heavy-handed, but the point really is like those rules are all they're things that women already somewhat imbibe, and some of us, someone like me, that I'm also learned from the conversation that, you know, when you're outside, regardless of what your spouse does, just defend him,
Support him.
support him. We'll try. I will do better.
It is
Do better
well.
to support him,
Let's fight.
to help them fight, and you know say, yeah, I
You
support
say,
you.
you just, if
No,
you
use
just
wisdom, use
call
wisdom.
him, they use wisdom.
Use wisdom.
You have not changed the
Eh,
chat.
that's not what we said. We're not saying she go and
Because
fight them.
there's
Just use
some-
wisdom.
see, my husband is a fantastic human being. I mean, he's not perfect, but there are times where he just goes overboard. And you're like, bro, take it easy.
You're touching
You know?
his thighs when he's.
And I'm like, take it easy,
Touch his
man.
thighs, touch his thighs.
You don't know the
I
people
tap
person
him
you
at the back.
comfort
You don't know the people that say, why are you touching me? Don't touch me.
I will touch you. I will touch me.
Don't touch me.
And I will touch you the wrong place. You will calm down, you smile, relax.
Oh, you say, why are you pitching me under the table?
I will
I'm
pinch you.
talking, I'm saying my mind. Don't pitch me
I
under
will
the table.
pinch
Don't
you.
pitch.
Anyways, that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.